secret to writing shippable romances that we actually care about is by giving your characters flaws that are conducive to the plot and their character development. And I know some of you might be thinking, Erin, wouldn't it just start with a meet cute? And sure, maybe for the first few pages or the first few minutes of the movie, but I need something else to hold on to. And we do that with flaws. Why? Interesting and well thought out flaws makes characters interesting and complex, which makes us more invested in the characters, which makes us more invested in their relationships, which makes us interested to see if they're going to screw up their relationships because of their flaws. Just like relationships in real life, people having them implode because of inner issues that they're not working through or just unwilling to compromise on. You know how relationships work. This is especially great if you're writing an adult romance and you need to actually build tension and a real reason why they can't just be together on page 5. So how do we do this? There's 3 big ways, but the easiest way is to explore the negative side of a character's positive attributes, because sometimes the best thing about you is also the worst thing about you. And ain't that love? An example of this could be that your character's positive trait is that they're a hard worker. Love that for us. But the extreme of this, or the downside of this, could be that they're a workaholic. They go on and on about how working is the only time that they feel fulfilled or happy, or they feel like they have to work 24/7 to be able to maintain a certain lifestyle or to achieve their dream at all costs, thus neglecting their mental health and their relationships, their romantic relationships. Gee, I wonder how this could work out in a romantic context. Another example of this could be that your character's positive traits are that they're exceptionally kind and they're always looking for the best in people. But the negative of this could be that they are way too forgiving of people screwing them over. They completely ignore red flags, or maybe they're a people pleaser and they're so afraid of ruffling feathers that they're afraid to speak up when something upsets them, or they're afraid if they speak up then the relationship is going to end. So they have a pattern of just sitting in sucky relationships. Gee, I wonder where the plot would go with this setup, especially when someone new, the love interest, enters the villa. I wonder. And of course, all of this is just the tip of the iceberg when writing romance. If you want to learn how to mine these flaws from your character's backstory and weave them into your plot, then I'll have the character backstory workbook linked to my profile with over 100 questions and exercises. My favorite ways to use flaws in a romance is by making their flaw a reaction to an insecurity that they have. An example of this could be that a character is insecure about their intellect, and a reaction to this could be that they're always playing dumb, and their flaws could play out as them not having high expectations for themselves. They could always be telling self-deprecating jokes about how stupid they are, or they never answer questions because they think that they have the wrong answer, even though they know what the right answer is. They're still afraid that, that maybe they got a mistake and that it's wrong, or they're afraid to share their ideas, or they're afraid that their ideas are going to be ridiculed, so they never share them. They're always playing small and accepting crumbs in all areas of their life, even romance. So people like that probably don't emphasize their smarts in romance. They probably puff up other areas, and they don't allow people to get that close to them because they don't want them to see how quote unquote stupid that they are. If I was writing a story like this, I would say that a character like this has a history of purposefully choosing partners that will not intellectually challenge them, even though that is something that they crave. They want to have these complex discussions, but they're afraid that the other person will see them as less intelligent, which makes them easier to manipulate, which is a fear that they have, and we'll talk about fears more in part 3. But because of this character often gets bored in relationships because they're not intellectually stimulated by their partner and feel like they have to drum up drama in other areas of their relationship to keep it exciting, and that's the cycle that they've been stuck in with each relationship. But what happens when they meet someone new that they really like, but that person will challenge them intellectually? Are they going to react differently this time? Sounds like a plot to me. But what is a different way that a character can react to this insecurity? Because remember, we're all choosing collective components that are in alignment with our desired plot and the arcs that we want to see played out. So if a character playing dumb doesn't align with the story that you're trying to tell, but you still like that insecurity, you can choose a different reaction. So maybe with the story that you're trying to tell, you have a character that is still insecure about their intellect, but their reaction is to overcompensate for it. They're the person who always has to be right. they're always arguing their point about something, even when they don't even know that much about the topic. They're constantly trying to discredit other people's intelligence or say that other people don't actually know the facts about things, or they're trying to make other people look dumb, or they're always talking to people in a condescending tone or like they're trying to teach people something. What kind of person or partners do you think that kind of person attracts? How have their relationships worked out for them in the past? Do they let people get close to them? Probably not, because they're going to see the cracks in the veneer. What's happened to them in the past that made them do this, that made them put up all of these walls? Where does all of this stem from? What are their core beliefs about themselves that made them act this way? How does that play out in love? Challenges, for example, people's insecurities were running amok, and I was in the theater eating it up. Well, I wasn't actually eating popcorn. I was eating my lemon pepper wings, honey lemon pepper wings, and a big ol' slushie, eating it up. But people's core beliefs play a huge part in all of this, even down to Art, who thinks that he cannot beat this guy. Well, maybe I shouldn't spoil it. I'll leave it there. But we can talk in the comments. People's insecurities and what they truly believe about themselves will have them running into the same walls when it comes to romance, and people's inability to properly communicate what they want and what they can get out of each other. A masterclass, truly. The most exciting and dynamic way to add complexity to your romance is to let your character's fears shape their flaws. An example of this could be a character who fears what other people may think of them. So their flaws could be that they are super paranoid and they overanalyze every little interaction that they have. They overanalyze every single person's tone, or overanalyze people's texts that they send them, or how long it takes for people to respond to them over email or over a text or what have you. They think that it has something to do with them. They're constantly seeking outside approval, outside validation, and they're constantly trying to control their perception. So in a romantic context, this could possibly look like someone who's bending themselves in order to be whatever they think that their love interest wants them to be. You know, maybe they're an introvert, but their love interest loves party girls. So they're like, okay, I'm gonna be a partier now so that I can be loved. So as writers, we can ask ourselves, well, where does that need stem from? To bend and twist and need this outside approval so badly. Where does that stem from? And how can they overcome it through the course of this romance? Another example of this could be a character having a fear of rejection, and their flaw could be that they talk a big game to everybody about pursuing their dreams, but they never actually do it because they have this belief that it's not actually going to work out for them, and if they never try, then they can never truly be rejected. So again, as writers, we have to ask ourselves, how does this show up for them romantically? What's their mindset while they're dating? Are they cynical about love? Or they force themselves to be cynical about love in order to protect themselves from being rejected? Are they afraid to put themselves out there on dates because they fear they're going to be rejected? Does this skew the types of people that they pursue because they feel like their real type, the type that they're actually physically and emotionally attracted to, is going to reject them? Do they just kind of settle for whoever gives them attention because they know, okay, well, that person is going to be obsessed with me. We don't actually know that, but you know, they're giving me all this attention, so I'll just go be with them, even though I know that we're not completely compatible. How does this fear show up when this character meets their love interest? How do they overcome it? If you don't know what your character's fears, flaws, insecurities are, what their inner core beliefs are, where all of this stems from, and how to weave it into your plot, then I'll have the character backstory workbook linked in my profile with over 100 questions and exercises just like this so that you can write your best romance yet. Happy writing!